Hey guys, thank you so much for being here with me. Oh no, Facebook, I don't know why they're not gonna, again, they are not going to do, I've got my glasses here, forgive me, I'm waiting for Dr. B to, looks like this broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Why? Oh my. Okay, bear with me for one moment. Hold on. A post was created, delete it. Okay, remove. Oh my, let's do it again. Let's try it one more time. I am so sorry. Today, let's save the changes. I don't know what's up with Facebook. I really don't know why. Okay, now it's on Facebook, I hope. There may be a new post in there. Forgive me. Hello, everyone. I know that Dr. B will be here shortly. We have been planning this for a few days now. I love Dr. B, and she, I've been on her show before, and she's never been on my little channel, but thank you, Dr. B. When you get here, I love having, new people on the show, and I appreciate everyone out there. No fighting, no arguing, no bullying anyone, please. I don't want that to happen again to anyone, especially my lovely guests. Caffeine Q, you said something very sweet to me here, and I'm trying to find your comment. I don't know where it is. But here we go. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I need this kind of thing right now. I've been following Tania since I read her book, No Inclination. I love how she portrayed Bella. Bella was a special little girl, and Tania gave her a powerful voice. Thank you so much, Caffeine Q. That is so sweet. And I did. Bella is sort of the star of the book. She is the person who I wrote the book for, more or less. And I gave her a voice. I gave the voice to everyone, except for the littlest girl who was Tabby in the book, but Celeste in real life. Thank you. That makes me feel really good because I haven't been feeling great lately. I really appreciate that. There is Dr. B. Thank you, Dr. B. Are you here?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. On my little bitty channel, and you have such a lovely channel, and so many followers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So how are you?
No, Tania, thank you for having me. And I love talking to you.
Oh, I did too.
I love hearing your point of view. And I think you're a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I think you're a wonderful person too. I really appreciate, and you're so smart, and you have everything organized, and my brain is just everywhere. So thank you, Dr. B.
Organized.
You seem to be so organized compared to me. I mean, I have nothing organized ever.
Yeah, same, but thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, yeah, you'll flip through documents and you know what you're doing. I have no idea. I don't know where stuff is, but oh my gosh. So you're going to be getting some discovery. I'm hoping it contains something new. Oh my goodness. At the end of the month, you're going to get it, right?
Yes, but before we get into that, I just would like to address something, if that's okay with you.
Sure, go right ahead. Have the floor.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Well, I hate drama. Okay, and I hate that platforms of other creators are being used to start drama. So I see that MIA or Mia, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I see her in chat, and I would like to sincerely apologize for last night's live, and as well to Angelina. It was a nightmare, and we should not. Yeah, but without going into that, into further detail, I would like to address that, there's people obviously out there who have issues with me and who are accusing me of stealing, and my team of harassment and things like that. And I honestly, I wouldn't even address this, but because it's getting really toxic, I wanted to offer to have a conversation about this without utilizing your platform for it, without utilizing Mia's platform, without utilizing anyone's platform, because this is with issues regarding me and my team. So I'm offering that after your live, whenever we're done, I will start a live on my channel and invite anyone who would like to make such accusations on my channel and have a conversation about it, rather than it being a one-sided one-sided thing, and then people who aren't even involved get dragged into this, and it's unfair, absolutely unfair
No.
to you. It's unfair to Mia or MIA. I'm sorry. And like I don't want to stand for that, and I think a lot of people expect me to address it, but I don't want to do that on your time, Tanya. You know, I don't think it's
Oh,
fair.
sure. No, and I mean, that's fine. I don't want anyone to bully anyone. And I know, we had that problem somehow, with Tammy on here the other day. I certainly don't want them to do it to you too. And I don't know where all this anger comes from, because
I don't.
everybody is on the same side. Am I right? I mean, we all want to find out what happened to these children and their mother, and there's nothing more to it or less to it, and we should all really get along. And I love you, Dr. B, and I love everybody who have had on the show, and I think we could all get along. And I caught like 5 minutes of Mia's broadcast last night because I was driving. I had to go to the post office and do some last minute things because I had just gotten home from my mother's house. I haven't watched it. But I don't know, I don't know where bullies come from or what, what's going on with what out there. And I have assigned a couple of mods today. Sharon, Tracy, thank you girls so much. And I think they're going to keep track of the chat and make sure that no one is bullying anyone in here. And certainly, Dr. B, you're so sweet. And, I can't imagine anyone not liking you or the work that you've done. And I am waiting with bated breath to find out what you get from that discovery pack,
Yes,
that's so exciting.
me too, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of expected people to, I know from personal experience that any time I consider donating to any charity, I personally always do research before I do that.
Sure.
And that's why that's one of the reasons why like transparency for me is so important. And I've literally like put effort into making it as transparent as possible. So when people do decide to donate or did decide to donate, they did so knowing and being informed as to what exactly it's for and what to expect, where
Sure.
I've explicitly said that, this could be a waste of money because
Sure.
we may not get anything new, but
Right.
based on, my hunch, like this is what I'm doing because I already had started collecting money for the files, but it was
Sure.
taking a while. So as a team, we decided, well, let's give it a shot and let's do a fundraiser. We raised the money all together as a group within like 20 days.
That is amazing.
And
I'm so
yeah,
glad you did. Yeah. And now you're not paying any guy in the alley behind the Frederick Police Department.
no,
You're paying the filing fees, I'm assuming, and whatever they require, per document or per CD or
absolutely.
per item or whatever. Um, and let's hope, I mean, anything, even if we find in case, additional phone records or something that they did not consider evidence at the time that could add to what we've all already researched. That's what's exciting, something that may be so,
Exactly.
so little, so nothing, like talking to someone at Anadarko, they said they had lunch with NK that day, anything.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
so that'll be exciting. And there may be very well be files that weren't necessarily redacted, but were left out of the in discovery
Hmm.
because, and we know that they talked to some neighbors who may or may not have had cameras on their home. And
Correct.
and we don't have that evidence. Am I correct, or have I missed that in the discovery? We don't have any information about any other CCTVs in the neighborhood. I would love to know if they found anyone who had that,
Yes.
Um,
So the digital discovery that is released by Weld County. So
yeah,
we have the 2,000-page document, and I feel
right.
like after almost 2 years of this case, I kind of like frustrated that we still have to go over this. But the
Oh,
discovery is not just the PDF document.
right.
And I think a lot of people get that confused. A lot of people think
Sure.
that just the 2,000-page thing, that's the discovery period.
It's
But
a lot of
Weld
paperwork, but
County,
sorry, go ahead.
absolutely, yes. And
Yeah,
Weld County has released the 2 digital discoveries, one in December and one later in May when they released the secret calculator pictures and all of
sure.
that. Um, and so that's the discovery that they have released. Now,
Okay.
I've I've read the discovery from like front to back, and I've downloaded the entire, and it's gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of
Yeah,
information that, it's just so much. But over time, I have gone through most of it. I'm not going to say all, because there's
right,
always going to be something that you miss. But I've gone through most of it, and I can tell you that I've taken notes on just the investigation. So anytime I look at the discovery, like for example, if I'm looking for something, so I go
right.
in with a goal, and the goal for me then was to decide to determine, okay, where the hell are these files that are referenced throughout, but we
Sure.
don't see them. And
Right.
so I started tracking, just through the entire discovery, just started tracking what agent took Chris's phone for the first time, what they did with the phone, where the phone ended up, what they took out of the phone, just tracking evidence, like the chain of where it
Sure.
all went, and who was all involved. So
And that's what I mean.
based
You're so organized. I couldn't do that. I'd be, shiny. I couldn't do all that.
well, yeah, but that's just, I don't know, like I'm too detail oriented, I guess, and I
Yeah,
always get
definitely.
trapped into in these different like rabbit holes.
Right.
And based on that, you can find out in the 2,000-page document the entire list of everything that Frederick Police Department have in their evidence and in their possession. And
Okay.
Frederick Police Department being the lead agency that is investigating the case.
Right.
In other words, Detective Baumhover was the lead detective, and the CBI, the FBI, Longmont, Firestone, Dacono, Greeley, all of those other agencies were assisting Frederick in the case. So that's, in other words, everything that they were working for Frederick, basically,
Right.
is, yeah.
Right.
And
And they
so
were the
all
extended
the evidence
agencies.
that
Right.
Exactly. All the evidence that was collected should have and must be in at Frederick. And if they redact, I'm certainly not looking for everything. I'm not
Right.
demanding. I'm not nosy. I'm not looking for the discovery
No.
for purposes of invading privacies of
No, of
of
course
people
not.
involved in the case.
Right. Right.
I'm interested in this case as a potential, are like, there are so many questions. This case is just bizarre from beginning to end, and that's what I'm interested in.
Sure.
I'm not interested in, you know I don't know. It's just
No, I know
ridiculous
you want
that
you want answers like everyone else does, and I don't know. I don't know what you're going to find in there. Oh my gosh, again, even if we have someone who said, they saw NK in the lunchroom at 11 a.m. or
right,
something, that the police or any agency determined was not important or pertinent to the case at the time, that
right.
at least will clear her. There has to be more for them to have let her go.
Hmm.
There's got to be more to her
Oh yeah.
innocence, that and I'm hoping you come across it. I mean, now I know that you and I don't really agree in our theory. You sort of think that there may have been someone else involved, and I don't. Am I correct, or have
Yeah.
you I changed my theory a couple
I
times.
Yeah, I have a theory, but I
Sure.
have major holes in the theory that I can't account for. And
Sure.
so one of them being, yes, there are things about NK that she says and does in what we see from the
Yes.
files now that certainly raise red flags. And
Sure.
I would say, yeah, of course, she's a mistress. Of course, she's gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
she's
Right. Right.
she's gonna, tune it down, and she doesn't want, like, people to see her nudes and everything like that.
No, of course not.
That's one
Nobody wants
thing.
to see those.
And yeah, and that by itself, I would take that. Yeah, I would absolutely accept that, and I would move on and
Sure.
say, okay, close or whatever.
Right.
So that on its own, her lying about or deleting the pictures, you could say that. But then there are other things that don't match, and eventually, after 4 or 5 things that are like curious for me, that's where I was like, my thinking at least was like, all right, I need to like figure out if this is all like coincidental or if
Sure.
this
And there
happened
are a lot
on
of
purpose.
coincidences. That's what I was saying. Like people like you or AD or Tammy or anyone who thinks that for sure there was at least another person involved. The evidence you guys give me is so overwhelming that I keep saying it's got to be a coincidence because the simplest answer is that Chris did it all himself.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think um that's what I struggled with from day one actually. And if I don't remember what I even wrote in my blogs, but I think I mentioned that in the blog that when I was analyzing NK that I don't think she is capable to murder anyone
No.
or even of something such evil acts like that. Even if she is, let's say, in a quote unquote cult, which I also believe is very misunderstood. I think
I do too.
she has certain beliefs and she might have certain lifestyles that are more quote unquote new age, but I wouldn't go as far as to say like there's sacrifices or anything
No.
like that going on.
No.
So
Sacrificing young children or virgins or
yeah,
whatever. No.
right.
I
And
right.
so the fact that that she does practice a certain kind of lifestyle that to me is kind of
Sure.
like yoga and crystals and all that, like it all seems like it's a positive kind of energy type of thing.
I
So
think
like
so too. Right.
to imagine her like dipping rocks in water and like feeding it to Chris in order to brainwash him into killing his family is that's too far
No.
of a stretch for me,
Right. I
right?
think she
So
gave him some herbal tea or something. I mean, if we're talking about the drinks that she gave him, I think it was
mhm.
nothing. I've known so many people to be into the new age, religion and, people who are practicing Wiccan or whatever. And it's so harmless and
Yeah,
it's nothing. I mean,
it's
they're
harmless.
good people. I've never run into a bad witch, let's say, yet. I've only run into people who are very, very kind and loving and wonderful.
Yeah,
And I think that's what she did. Even if she dabbled in it barely, Chris might have been shocked and worried about it because he was from, a small
right,
town elsewhere, and
right.
he never ran into that sort of thing. It was always, church and God and established religion. There was nothing
Mhm.
unusual or metaphysical or anything, different for him. And I think NK was just into that
Exactly.
kind of stuff. There's so many young people, I mean, when I was in my 20s, my girlfriends and I did a couple little love spells or whatever, so
Oh
people
yeah.
do that. Yeah, totally. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's pretty much what NK was into. But I believe that Chris, when he did say that she did this and that, he may have just been exaggerating, or he was just so shocked and didn't understand, that how
Mhm.
innocent that type of thing really is. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my personal experience, I have a friend who is into yoga and all like vegan and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many of them, right?
That's all so foreign to me because if you know me for any amount of time, you'll know that like I live off of pizza and greasy
Oh,
stuff.
you're so
So
funny. Yeah. Plus you've
and
got
I smoke
that cooking,
cigarettes.
like
So
the
I'm nowhere near even, knowing anything about that to
sure,
judge anything. And so
sure.
I can see how it's easy for some people to fall into these stereotypes and just group it all together into one lump of like, oh, this is just all evil.
Right,
Um,
right.
and then the other thing, like my friend, like I said, she's all into that. And every time I go to her house, like I just feel so lost because she's like, "Do you want this seed root of a human angel with like gypsy tears, or do you
Oh
want
my
just a
gosh, I know,
regular
right?
skim milk?" And it's like, "Girl, just give me water." I don't know what you're talking
Would you
about.
like eat milk today? Or
Yeah, and it's just like, wow,
I
this
know
is
my
like a
daughter did
whole
that
different
vegan stuff
language.
for like 2 years. It's crazy. I was a vegetarian for like 2.5 years, and for good reason. I didn't want, I couldn't when I was younger. I couldn't stand the thought of eating animal. But yeah, my husband and I, we got into crystals and things like that, and
Hmm.
wearing them, and they meant different things. And my girlfriend and I, we did love spells, and it's all very innocent. Especially if you're, I mean,
Oh,
NK was a little bit
I
older.
was gifted Oh, sorry. I was gifted what's called a chakra necklace, I believe, or something like
Sure.
that for my
Right. I've heard of
birthday.
that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crystals and all of that stuff. And I have no idea what it means, but I
No,
know
no
that the
clue.
intention is good and positive. So
Sure.
I wear it, I wear it all the time. And
Sure.
I think it's beautiful. And so, yeah, I'm not judging any of that
No,
or
I'm not either.
jumping to conclusions. That's
No, no,
exactly
no.
why I want to see the documents, the facts, because I don't
Mhm.
want to have to figure out someone else's beliefs.
Oh, no, definitely. And I don't, I mean, I don't think I believe that, another author had said that she was into something dark, or that was again from Chris to her. And do you think this is, I mean, I don't think he went over there and there were bloody rituals or anything like that. I really don't. I
No.
really don't. Um, so now, do you believe that she could have had something to do with it? I think, that's a possibility, but I don't
Yeah,
see it. Go
yeah.
on, sorry.
I don't well, I don't know, and that's the thing. Like, I have been wrong before. I jumped on the Shane
Sure.
Carey train when
Hmm.
the Megan case
Yeah,
happened and with the baby Margot. Yeah, I jumped on that train immediately based on his interviews. And so I have been wrong and I have apologized. And so I'm trying to learn from my mistakes and I
sure.
don't want to like, jump to conclusions. So there's a couple of thoughts that I have. And my instinct, my gut is telling me that like, she might not have like contributed or done anything physically to contribute to the murders.
Sure.
But my gut is kind of telling me like she knew more than she's saying that she knows. And
You
so
think
that's
so?
the
Yeah. I don't
I
even think that.
do.
I don't even think that because
And
I think, yeah. Go on, sorry.
oh no. Yeah, and that's just, like I don't know. It's a feeling that I have, and like I said, I might be wrong.
Sure.
Um, but it sure, like when I try to answer the questions, and so whatever theory answers the most questions for me, I kind of
No, definitely.
go
That's
with it
exactly what,
until I prove or
right.
until there's something indicating otherwise anyway. So
And that's, sort of how I think we all come to our conclusions. And in the beginning, I thought, at first I thought she's got to have something to do with it. She's not very likable. Listen to her talk. I mean, she sounds horrible. Um, and so I wanted her to be involved. I really did. And then I got to looking at it more and I thought, no, it's got to be him. I mean, because it fits, family annihilators, except that he didn't kill himself in the end. And then I got a lot of flack from this from a lot of bullies that for about a week, my best friend David and I kicked around the idea that maybe Shanann did kill the children because look at Andrea Yates or the woman who lived over here near me,
hmm
Marilyn Lemack, who actually killed her children and tried to kill herself because her husband had a mistress and he had moved out of the home. But she
hmm
was successful with killing the children. So I got to thinking, well, maybe it was a Marilyn Lemack situation where she found out that he was having an affair and she did all this. And then, I mean, I went as far as to think, oh my gosh, maybe she tried to hop in the car and poison herself with carbon monoxide in the garage, and then Chris found the children, and so he went out there and he strangled her from the side, angry with her, whatever. I don't know, but I kicked around that idea, and boy, I've gotten flack for that. But I was just trying to, this was while I was writing the book, so I
hmm
thought, I mean, whatever, people get mad at you for whatever theory you come up with. And in the end, I've come around to think that, he tells this horrific story in such detail and without batting an
hmm
eye, that that's got to be the truth. That's kind of where I
hmm
settled. And that it's the simplest answer, that this man did this to his family. And it's unfortunate, but that's what I see. I don't, and I
hmm
have trouble coming up with a motive for NK. What do you think her motive might have been if she is, more involved?
Yeah, I actually like I'm looking for my note.
Yeah, yeah.
I take notes in my phone and then I can never find them.
Well, I
So
usually remember
let's
a keyword and then I jump into my notes from there. I'm
oh,
awful.
good point. I can try that.
Yeah, do
Um,
it.
but I would like to, if you allow me, share my theory.
Sure, go ahead. I'd love to hear it. Go right
Okay.
ahead.
Let's see. Mm. Okay, so this is a working theory, all right? So it's like in progress.
Sure.
But I'm going to assume that like most of the facts, like most of the things that are said in NK's interview are, you know, half truths. So
Right.
this is my theory again. Um, I think by June, him and NK had been flirting for a while. I don't
Right.
think they had been talking or had pursued anything
Right.
until those emails. And the reason why I say that is because she says that she's in charge of the gas monitors at Anadarko, which is a
Correct.
fact
Mhm.
because it's her job position. You know, it's not something that she can make up anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
so she's monitoring these gas monitors or whatever. And one day, Chris walks into her office and they now have to communicate. And she sends the first email. And so, like, the first email, actually, let's see if I can like pull it up so that we can
Yeah, do if
follow.
you have it. It would take me an hour to
Yeah,
look it up.
you
So
know,
I
I got,
pull that up yet.
you know, one second. I'm just looking through my files.
Go right ahead. I'm looking through my chat here. Jana. The thing is, those who hide nothing have nothing to hide. Nice quote. I like that. And there's a whole heck of a lot of things hidden in this case. I know there are. And I know that, again, I look at NK and I think the reason she really deleted those texts and everything between her and Chris and asked Chris to do it too is because she figured, she was thinking, my God, maybe this man I'm dating did something horrible and killed his family, or at least knows where they are or something. So I'm going to get rid of him so I don't look bad. And I think that's why she did that. And yes, she lied to the police and said, "Oh, I deleted him because he's lied to me," and whatever. I don't believe that for a second. I think everything she did that was a lie was to pull herself away from the situation and make it look as if, I don't think she was involved. I really don't. It just, I can't get around. But then again, like I said, you guys offer all this, stuff that makes no sense. Like, why did she Google Shanann a year or so before? Or do you think that was a typo, Dr. B?
No, I don't think it's a typo. It's not a typo, actually. I did a video about that, actually explaining it. So there's two things to keep in mind.
Sure.
Again, this goes back to reading the discovery. I think people are referring to the timeline that's in the discovery, that like 50-page timeline that Detective Michael Prill did from the Greeley Police Department.
Right.
And the timeline doesn't start where the timeline starts. You have to read his report in order to understand how to read the timeline,
Okay.
because he explains it. So there's a way that you can double check his work, basically.
Okay.
And so if you read his explanation of how to read the timeline, you'll see that he's referencing reports from Celebrite. And Celebrite, in order to see that report, you have to go back to the Denver Crime Labs report written by Darren Ford, I believe. He's the
Okay.
one who analyzed the phones, and he's the one who includes a couple of the screenshots of the Celebrite report.
Okay.
So so now back to the timeline where it says that Nicole Googled Shanann in September 1st
Right.
of 2017. He references line such and such on the Celebrite report. And thankfully, that line is captured in the report by the crime lab. And if you cross-reference them, you'll see that he mistyped. It's supposed to have been whatever. She did Google her before she even knew anyone, but it wasn't September. It wasn't that far back. She Googled Shanann, I believe, in January 7th, I believe,
Okay.
is the first time she Googled her in 2018, which is, again,
Very
it's
weird.
weird, but again, it's one of those things where if you look at the time frame, and if you look at all the other characters and what was going on at that time in January, that same day, I believe Shanann was hosting a Thrive party where
Oh,
Chris's coworkers were attending and were posting on social media. And that to me kind of could explain that Google search where
sure,
she could have been creeping on the coworkers. She likes Chris. She's, going on the coworkers' site. She realizes they're at Chris's house. She goes in. She finds out, oh, Shanann, that's his wife. So let me go Google her, and
sure.
so that kind of thing.
Now,
Um,
was she even working there yet, though? In Jan, I thought she started like in April, of 2018.
right. Yeah, that's true. So that's the flaw
Yeah,
of that theory. So
right.
because I feel like, yeah, she did say that she just started a couple
Mhm.
of months ago. So yeah, and there was that was another thing that I was also looking into is could she have, because she did Google Chris in August of 2017. So
That is true. Right. And
that
it was
is
the eighth month, and I saw that was kind of backwards or wrong because people thought September, but it was actually August. Now, is it possible that her company, now she worked for sort of like a staffing agency or something like that, where she would go through her company and they would assign her jobs at various locations, and Anadarko was the last one. Am I correct?
right.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
is it possible that there were a list of positions up even a year earlier and she wanted to take a closer look? I don't, but then how could she find Chris? I don't know. It's so creepy,
I
that
think,
creepy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I that's something that I'm hoping to also try to like understand better
Mhm.
when I do go on this trip to Colorado, because from my understanding, and I know from my personal experience, I know that, or and you, Tanya, yourself, depending on whatever career you're in, there's always networks. There's ways to
Sure.
network, and you always come across the same people, unplanned or whatever, and
Sure.
so I think, I want to learn more about the Colorado oil and gas culture. And,
Sounds like a
you know,
fun crowd. No, I'm kidding.
I
But
know well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just so detail oriented
mhm,
because I don't want to ever say anything as a fact without,
sure. Well, it's not a fact,
without,
right? That you don't know yet. And
yeah.
yeah, I think that it is. I mean, what about LinkedIn? Did anybody look into LinkedIn and see if maybe she was hooked up to a few people that he worked with, and she saw his? Did he have a LinkedIn? I don't know. Most men do. I mean, my husband does. I don't know. He won't do
Yeah.
Facebook, But did Chris have a LinkedIn? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that well, we obviously know that he did have
Facebook, right?
Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
So,
Tinder. I don't know.
right?
Right.
There's a list of there's a right after that timeline in Discovery, there's a list of all the apps that Chris had downloaded on his phone. And so I haven't seen LinkedIn on the list. I just saw a bunch of like sports
Sure.
apps and his like secret calculator app, and yeah.
God. Yeah. Ew. Ew. Let's see here if I have any more chat. I thank you girls out there, Cher and Tracy, for keeping everything, I'm assuming, calm and kind in the chat. I'm trying never getting notification. Okay. Everyone has their theories. There we go, Cher. Thank you. Everyone has their theories though, and I love hearing them. I do too. It is so fascinating, and as long as they're not hurting anyone. And what do you think, Dr. B, about the fact that the Ruseks want everyone to stop investigating NK? What do you think about that? I mean, I feel terrible for them, and I understand sort of why, but I don't know. I
Mhm.
mean, wouldn't you think they would be happier in the end if the real answer came out? Or, but I think they want to just grieve and move on, and I don't know. It's so hard to know what to do in a case like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's always that's a tricky question, obviously. And um I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to answer it. Like, I have my own thoughts about it. I think that the Rusek family, in their attempts to stop people from talking about the case, are only hurting themselves more,
Right.
because in their efforts to try to stop people from talking about it, it gets really ugly, and it gets really personal, and it gets
Sure.
really disgusting, and that's so unfortunate, because I don't think, realistically, I don't think they'll ever be able to stop anyone from talking about it.
No.
We do have the First Amendment, and I always stand behind that. But I do always draw a line between, freedom of speech and expression and abuse.
Right.
And
Of
those are,
course.
two different things, and hate speech and things like that. But for individuals who are discussing the case in terms of theories and not making it personal,
No.
I don't want to be friends with the Watts or anyone else. Like, this is not about that.
Sure.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
I
so
feel so sorry for them both, and I wish that they would come together and speak to each other and somehow
I
make
don't think
amends. I don't think it's going
I
to
don't
happen
even
though.
want that. Like,
No.
I don't even want to have any thoughts about any of that, because,
Sure.
I don't think it's realistic to sing Kumbaya. I mean, their son,
Yeah.
killed their
Yes.
daughter and their grandchildren in a horrific manner. I think both are victims of Chris Watts and his actions, and I think, they have, however they choose to deal with it,
It's good
whether
for
they
them.
want to
Right.
not talk for the rest of their lives and hate each other for the rest of their lives. That's for them to make that decision.
That's true.
You
You're right.
know,
You're right. And I never thought about it
for
that way. I just sort of thought they could, grieve together, share stories, and, you're right. Kumbaya. But that's the way I always am. I always want everyone to do that.
Yeah, and I,
I
if see, in my work as a psychologist, obviously, like, through my training and supervision, one thing that I've learned that I always fall into a trap of is, I get these rescue fantasies where I get sucked in and I want to fix everyone's
oh,
problems.
yep, yep, I do too. Wow.
Yeah, and so that's something that I have to be careful of, because if I do that with patients, for example, I'm gonna burn out in a matter of a month,
Oh, of course, you'll take it all
Um,
personally. Yeah.
right. And so
Mhm.
whenever I find myself getting really upset and getting really, like, emotionally involved in something, that's
Sure.
when I take that as a sign for me to step back and
Sure.
reevaluate, because I'm getting, like, what are my motives? And I have to remind myself, like, I'm not here to save or rescue anyone,
No, but
you
you try.
know?
You try, and I do that too. I try to save everyone, and and I'm not involved in the psychiatry or psychology or anything like that, but I do that with people I meet. I want to rescue, and I know that Cher does that too, especially with people who are wrongly accused who are sitting in prison.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh, there was something else I was going to ask you, and I don't remember. What about, do you think, is it possible that NK was there that morning? I mean, if she,
Yes, would like to that's what I would like to find out once
sure.
and for all, because yeah, there are a couple of things that really, really bother me on the logs, or in the discovery that we have so far. And I think there are a couple of things that I pray are included in the Frederick files that will finally just put it all to rest
I hope.
for NK, in my
Crossed.
opinion, and the theory of whether or not she was there that
I
night.
hope so. I really hope so. And that I hope there's some, minute detail that would not be important to the investigation but would be important to us or not she had any involvement, and it could be anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be she pinged it near Anadarko at, 7 a.m. or what, anything. But we don't have everything. And that's what bothers all of us, I think, that there are details that if they didn't investigate it, why didn't they? I mean, why didn't they go and
Right.
talk to coworkers and see how long that, NK was there that day? And I'm sure they did. That's what I
Right.
can't believe they didn't do that. They have one
Yeah.
guy in prison, but what if there was an accomplice? Why would they not
Yeah. That's a
pursue it
question
further?
that
And I'm hoping that you will find that out.
That's actually a question that I asked of one of someone commented on one of my videos, and she said that she's a retired criminal defense attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her if she was interested, to if we could ask her a couple of questions about, what her opinion is. And one of my questions was that. Is where like how is this
Right.
possible, like why wasn't this further pursued? And the response that I got was very intriguing, to say the least. So
Really?
if you do you mind if I read it?
Sure, please do. Oh my gosh, anything. Awesome. I'll be
Okay, so
quiet.
this is from a former criminal defense attorney.
Okay.
So I she says, I use IREC to think. Issue, rule, application, conclusion. Issue. Did NK have an immunity agreement from prosecution, including the filing of charges in turn for complete cooperation in the disclosure of information regarding the crime? The
Wow.
prosecution had the following cards. Possible charges against NK. 1, co-defendant. 2, co-conspirator. 3, aiding and abetting. 4, withholding evidence. 5, failure to report a crime. 6, giving false info. And 7, I think this is the most important one, is wearing a hoodie in 90-degree weather.
Oh my gosh, that is so
So,
funny. Definitely the most
that's the
important
issue.
one. Right.
So that's the issue. Now the rule. The rule is immunity from prosecution is broad. It is really an offer, a set of offers, a method of negotiation between prosecutor and defense.
Okay.
It's deal making. Chris's plea agreement is a separate deal. It would not mention NK. Supposedly, the offer to Chris was made by the actually, defense drafted this, to
Right.
take the death penalty off the table in agreement for a plea, to plead guilty. Considering the zero rate of executions in Colorado, Chris didn't want to go to trial for some other reason. A plea agreement, with some exceptions, can be withdrawn by the defendant before conviction. An immunity agreement, however, can be an immunity agreement can be oral, a letter, or written. Application. Now, this is how it could be applied.
Sure.
So NK's involvement would be necessary and relevant to the prosecution if there was a trial. I remember notes by CBI or FBI investigator on a small pad of paper, not more than 5 lines, from an interview with Chris. The notes regarded CW's relationship with Shanann, and the last line was, "Don't let her go down." I think it was underlined. It probably means that Chris stated he didn't want NK to be charged. This may have been prosecutors' ammo to persuade CW to take a plea. NK's dad. Why did NK's dad ask investigators twice during the interview how it would affect NK if there's a plea agreement, if there was no trial? Investigator played dumb, but I think this was a prompt to pass on to the prosecutor that a deal could be made for full immunity from all prosecution relating to this crime in exchange for her full cooperation. NK wanted to be sure that she would not face charges or be called as a witness. She needed an immunity agreement that she would never be charged with anything relating to the crime ever. And if there
Wow.
was trial, she would not be considered a witness. The prosecution wanted information. Where are the bodies? Conclusion, NK will never be charged within the scope of this crime.
Because she has immunity.
Yeah.
You think that's possible, really?
I mean, I love structured and organized things that are, clearly supported with the appropriate laws, statutes, and things like that. And so I know that she was in the field for 30 years, and I'm taking her word for what she's saying. Now, this is her theory, of course. I'm not taking it as
right.
the gospel, but this is, I use her experience and expertise in that to not have to do the research on my own. So yes, that is a possibility, in my opinion. Like, if it makes sense to her, then, it could be possible.
It could be possible. And again, I don't, perhaps if he did tell her that night, look at what I've done or whatever, then she would be not an accessory. What would be withholding information? Am I correct? Or obstructing justice? Or I know you read those out, but I don't remember exactly what they were. She might be not an accessory after the fact, or maybe I don't know.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, there are definitely laws that she has broken.
Sure.
In my opinion, of course. Again, I'm not legal. I'm sure they're like lying to federal agents.
That's a big one.
I'm sure that's and I don't know that they really pursue charges against people who do that. People lie all the time, and I think they take that into account. They've asked Chris if he wants to pursue charges against Trent. He said no.
Yes. Right.
So I don't think they really jump on it immediately.
Okay.
Because I feel like law enforcement, it's not in their interest to just lock everybody up for no reason,
No, I know with Casey Anthony, they locked her up only for lying to the police. Oh my gosh, that woman. Oh, nothing made me more mad than that, that verdict. But so they could lock NK up for lying, but what could they prove she lied about? What do you think? I mean, I know she lied about why she deleted everything about Chris in her phone. I know that was a lie, but that is how she felt. How are they going to prove she didn't feel, this guy lied to me, so I'm deleting everything? I mean, what do you think? What do you think she may have lied about? I mean,
well, I think that's I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I don't know how they can prove it, but I think if we had like the phone records,
yes,
we could see more of how much of a case there really is for something like that.
And if she was granted immunity, then maybe all this is for nothing. I mean, do you know what if that's the case? I mean, gosh.
Right. And that's, but that's okay too, because as citizens in this country, like, we shouldn't be having witch hunts, right? Like, that's not the point. The point is whether or not she was granted immunity. That's something we all have as an opportunity. Like, if I was in that situation and I was off, hell yeah, I would take it.
Of course, yeah.
So that I don't have to lie to you about me trying to hide my boobs from you. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying this is like a bad thing, like, oh no, she has immunity. And that's okay, like, because I trust law enforcement. And if they determine that for what she has or hasn't done is good, like, it's safe for the public for her to be out there.
Be out here, right.
Also, not as bad enough for her to like be in jail, if that makes sense, then like, we'll offer her immunity. But that's the thing, like, the point is, like, we also have a right to government transparency as well.
We do.
And so that's the other part of it. It's like, why aren't we being shown this? Like,
and I'm hoping you'll get that in the packet of stuff you pick up. Oh my gosh, my fingers are crossed.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's just frustrating when people are, spreading complete lies and are in essence, like, trying to sabotage this entire effort that like our team and our subs and everyone has been working on for months. So I just cannot wait to just pick those files up and
I
just
know. That's what I'm
be
looking
done
forward
with it.
to. Are you going to do a live about it right away? Are you going to take time to read it all? No, I want you to read it on live on YouTube. Read it
Yes,
page by
I
page, all of
honestly
us.
absolutely not interested in any like, what do you call it? Like holding the files hostage or anything.
Sure,
You
yeah,
know,
no,
I will be, obviously, like, releasing it immediately. I'll definitely
full
be,
disclosure, right. Awesome.
documenting the journey. So I haven't decided the format yet, but I want to do, like, little lives from, like,
Up from
vlogging the
the
trip,
road, like
basically.
driving there, yeah, that would be
Yes.
fun. You have to do that, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my
When you're
sister
going
is
with your
like that.
sister, that would be
Yep.
fun. Yeah.
So that's, I don't know how we're gonna exactly share that, like whether it will be in the Facebook group, just because
Sure.
people are harassing and everything. But yeah, but definitely. And then the files, uh, as fast as I upload them onto whatever platform I can use for
You're gonna
that,
share them.
they will be available. Yeah.
Yay. I cannot wait. And I hope you don't pick up everything and it's exactly what we've already got. That would be disappointing for you, I'm sure. If it was me driving all that way out there and then whatever. But it's a risk that you're taking, and I know you're sort of prepared for that possibility. I hope not, but we'll
Mhm.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Even if
definitely do think, like, I do think that there will be things that we haven't seen before,
good, I
and
hope.
some of um, I believe there's some, like, security footage
Ooh,
that was given to Frederick Police Department
sure.
that weren't released in the digital discovery. I believe I can't remember if someone in chat knows, but I think it's, like, from McDonald's or something like that.
From
And
that morning, you
there's
mean? Is that what we're
also
talking about?
footage
Yeah,
later. Huh?
yeah. Was that from
I'm
that
sorry, what?
morning? You mean the
I don't know
McDonald's?
what the time frame is. I don't
Okay.
know the time frame,
And what
but
about the
I know.
footage? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and then there's also talk. There's a report by Detective Baumhover
Hmm.
where he picks up a flash drive from Nate, and the flash drive contained, like, video of Chris
Yes.
leaving
Right.
on the side of the house, and while Shanann was gone, and going towards the Lexus, which was parked off the whatever,
On the
on
street
the
too,
street.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I believe
That's
that
really weird.
is going to be in there.
And I wonder why. What I'd like to see too is the footage from Nate's camera of the woman who mysteriously entered the home. That's in 2018 September, I want to say it was, right? The woman with the long hair that nobody, didn't
Hmm.
she have long dark hair? Is that footage
Hmm.
or is that just Nate's testimony? I don't know. Not testimony, whatever. When he called the police to tell them,
Yeah,
it was there
I
footage
think
of that.
it was. Yeah, I think it was Nate's statement, but he
Okay.
stated that he captured it on the surveillance.
Yeah.
So Nate said
And
he
how
saw
weird.
it, but I don't know that if they have that. But if they do, again, at that point, the FBI and the CBI had retreated already, I believe. They weren't
Yeah, they did.
assisting,
Right.
right? They weren't
Right.
assisting any longer. So at that point, it would have been a Frederick officer who would have
Correct.
taken that call.
Yes,
So that should be in there.
correct. And they went in there, a bunch of them, like 10 of them or something,
Right.
went in the house that night to check it out. And
Hmm.
that was creepy because the garage lights were off and then they were on and they were off. But I think that wasn't
Hmm.
everything like
Hmm.
wasn't it on a motion sensor, every light in their house or something like that?
I don't know
I
that.
remember someone
I
mentioned that before. Yeah. I'm trying to, let's see, there's a lot of chat here, and I'm so sorry I haven't been paying attention to the chat. I'm just fascinated listening to Dr. B tell her stuff. Um, no, and is there anything else you had wanted to address, or I had another question for you, but again, I don't write anything down, so I have no idea. How did you get involved in the Watts case to begin with? How did that all happen?
Oh
And I should know this,
God.
right?
um, so I worked for the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, and I think a lot of people when you work, you have interest, you come across interesting people. So of course, when you have a high profile prisoner and you're working there,
Sure.
it would be like, it's interesting. And around the time that Chris was transferred to Wisconsin, around that same time, there was another case that was going on. It's a case of kidnapping with Jamie Kloss. It happened in Wisconsin,
Okay.
where this guy, I think his name is Jake Peterson, he had held her basically hostage for 88 days.
Oh my.
And yeah, so that was ongoing. It was a big deal in Wisconsin at the time. And so when he was finally when Jamie was finally found safe and sound, and they arrested the guy, we were talking about, oh, he's obviously gonna come here. So no matter when something big like this happens in Wisconsin, we know that like Dodge is the intake facility, it's the reception center. So all of them go through
Sure.
there, you know.
Wow.
So it's just, so that's how, but I've been following true crime forever. But
Forever.
that's specifically, Chris Watts, because I'd been following everything beforehand, like since the porch interview. But that's when I
Sure.
was like, oh wow, like why did they send him to Wisconsin? Like, I remember thinking,
Right.
what the
Right.
hell? Like, what is he doing here? And then I was actually, I had put in my resignation, and
Sure.
right around the time when Chris was interviewed there, and by March, remember, because they released it like a couple weeks later. It didn't
Yeah,
come
they
out
did.
immediately,
Right.
but so in March, they released the audio interview, and that's when I heard the second confession. I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe, right? It was like, this is like even worse than
Yeah. Yes,
what
and
we could
worse.
imagine. Ugh. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so
And then
that's
the third
when,
confession,
hmm that's when I got
you're
sucked
breaking
in,
up
and
a
that's
bit. I
when
don't know
I
why. I don't
reached
know if it's
out
my
to AD.
computer. Right. Right.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're going away. I don't know why. You keep bleeping. Is that me, guys, or is that Dr. B? Because whenever I think it's one of my guests, it turns out that it's my stuff that's pausing. No, it looks like I'm actually online and everything's going well. But um,
Yeah, it might be
yeah,
me. Sorry.
no, I don't know. I don't know if it's you or me. But let me see if I can get to any of the comments here. And I don't know what you guys are talking about, which is a problem of mine. When I stop looking at all the comments, I don't remember, I have no clue how to get involved with what you guys are talking about. Um, so yeah, you were, so that, I mean, that's fascinating. Maybe she had immunity or has immunity. And do you think that's why she has not talked to anyone? Because she's afraid to disrupt that or whatever, to go against would there be terms in that immunity? Like,
That,
what
yeah,
she would do?
I would think so.
So
Yeah,
it
and
may be that
I don't, oh,
she
sorry.
could never reveal the truth about the immunity. Would that be something that would be possible, that she could never actually go to CNN or whatever and tell her side of the story, and how, that I have immunity for this, but I helped him, whatever, load the truck, or something like that? Would she
hmm
not be able to speak out in the future? I mean, I don't know. How would
Yeah,
that work if you have immunity?
I don't
Does
know.
anyone
I
know?
think it's, but I think, like the lady was saying, it's a set of it's a set of agreements. So it would
Right.
be, there's not, I don't think there's like a template for it. I think
Okay.
they work it out between them.
Right, one by one, in whatever agreements
Yeah,
she
and so
agreed
it depends.
to have the immunity. Okay, I get it. I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, so she could be an accessory after the fact. She could be, I don't think that she was an accomplice. I really don't see that at all. I don't know. But he might have told her. Someone brought up that fact the other day, and he may very well have told her later that he did this. There's some reason why, she seemed scared enough so I don't know. Maybe I'm giving her too much credit, thinking that she came up with, that she figured it out on her own based on his behavior. And in the book, I give her a lot of credit, but it's not really her. It's my Stephanie. But the book is fiction, so whatever. But yeah, so now you're going. You said at the end of the month to get this stuff. I'm so excited. I don't know. It's like a Christmas packet.
I know. Let me see. Let me look at the calendar. I need a visual.
Visual.
Yeah, next week. Oh my God, next week.
Oh my God, awesome. Yeah, definitely put
Wow.
up a live about your journey or whatever. I would watch that for sure.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. But
So,
I can see that things are getting pretty hostile in your chat. And so
oh no,
I
I'm not looking at it. I'm trying not
I'm
to.
yeah, I don't I'm just gonna like I said, I'm just gonna start a live on my channel, and I invite
Okay.
Tammy to come on and we can have a
Oh,
discussion on my channel, because I
I think
hate
you
to do
gals will
this
love
to
each
anyone
other.
else.
I really do. I think you're both, awesome people. So I don't know why. I want everyone to get along. You know how I am. I'm really weird about that. That if we all met together somewhere, we'd all get along, swimmingly. But Dr. B, thank you so much. You're awesome. Are you gonna hop over to your channel then to do that? I don't know if I should come by. I don't like conflict. Oh, I know.
No,
But
no, see, that's exactly why, Tanya, like, because I don't want to put you in the middle of this, and I think it's so rude to hijack someone else's platform and do this to them. I think Tammy has a problem with me, obviously, personally, so I think that should be between her and myself. So we can do that over on my channel so that you're not dragged into this.
no, I don't want, I don't want, again, I don't want anyone to argue, but I mean, is there any other case related stuff you would wanted to talk about? I'm so honored to have you here. I mean, I love your channel, and, I love all the YouTubers. I watch, everybody who I can. But I've been watching you like, forever, and I missed a few here and there because, real life stuff. But
Hmm.
is there anything else you wanted to add to all this stuff that's, case related? I don't know what's going on in chat. I'm not looking. I've got those two ladies who are helping me. Um, but it might not be good. I don't know. I really don't know. Um, but I went
It's
through.
yeah, I haven't really been paying attention too much either, but I just looked now and I can just see that it's not healthy. It's not a healthy debate. It's just accusations thrown
Oh no.
around, and it seems like, yeah. So I just don't want that for you, Tanya.
Oh no. I'm fine. I've been bullied online before by the Grey Gardens people for 2, 3 years, but I don't want my guests to be bullied at all in any way. But Dr. B, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this now, so nothing else, happens. I don't know what it is. I'll go look at it later. Thank you, Dr. B. I would love it if, after you'd come back on here someday. And I love your channel, and I'm going to keep watching. I can't wait. Let me know, like, the day you grab those things that you've got
Excellent.
it.
It will be next week, middle of
Very
next
cool.
week. So I don't want to say the exact day that I'm going there,
No,
because
no,
there
no.
are people online who are claiming that they will be there waiting for me,
Oh
apparently, to like
no. Oh
catch
my gosh.
me.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so I'm not going
that's
to reveal what day it's going to be, but it's going to be next week, and
hey,
those who need to know will know. And
very
I'm
cool.
not going to hide anything. And the files, as soon as we have them, they will be released. Like, I'm not going to hide them, harbor them, or anything. So everyone will have access to them.
Wonderful. That's so cool. Yeah, and I mean, thank you again. Yeah, what Cher's saying, it's okay, we're okay. I don't know if you mean that everything's nice in chat now. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look through everything, but I think you gals are kind of holding it down out there.
No, yeah, it looks
Yeah.
better now.
Okay, good. I don't know. I don't know who was saying what, but I don't like it. And again, you guys, if you comment politely in chat or below the video and you subscribe to my tiny little channel, I will draw next week. I'm going to draw a book winner who will get another signed copy of my book of No Inclination. That's all you have to do, but be nice, because if I delete your comment or one of my mods deletes your comment, then you can come back with a nice comment and it'll stay up and you'll be eligible. But thank you, Dr. B. You're amazing. I love this. I'm really happy that you came on today. And maybe next time we talk, we'll know what's in that packet of stuff, I hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. But thank you. Thank you all my viewers, and I hope that hope there wasn't too much fighting that I missed. I actually kept my glasses on because I had intended to pull stuff out of chat, but I was too fascinated with Dr. B's stuff she was telling us, especially about the immunity. So I'd really like to know more about that in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting, but thank you so much, Tanya. And again,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
really, really, really sorry for
Oh,
this. But
don't worry. No. I didn't know about what was going on. So I love you guys. Love you, Maya. Love you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and access both at the same time. Dr. B, I'll go over to your channel. I have to go to the store with my daughter, but I'll try to jump in at some point or at least watch it if I'm brave. Thanks again, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. B.
Thank
Love you
you.
bunches. Have a good night, hon. Thanks. Bye.